last year, right after Halloween, Dash went to he went to a party in a Pope costume, and he did not win the dog prize. So I went online last year and I bought like 3 costumes, and then I couldn't find them like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, where did I put them? They were all in a box with all of his other costumes at the top of the closet. So we spent some time taking pictures in costumes today.
Fun. I want to see those.
You will. You will. I got a cute video that I want to edit with some music, you know.
So does Dash love getting dressed up? I'm wondering.
No, he does not. He's like a toddler that you're trying to get into clothes and they just want to be naked and you're trying to stick his little legs and things. And he just sits there and he looks like this.
Mom.
That's not, but he gets treats and it doesn't last long. So I don't think he's permanently scarred.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Hey, Jill.
Hi, ladies.
How are you? Your hair is almost longer than mine now.
Well, you cut yours all off.
And jeepers, Carol, yours is kind of long as well.
That's what happens when you don't go get it cut.
Yeah, I need to do something. It's kind of driving me nuts. I guess I can.
All right. Oh, sorry, I'm a few seconds early. I got excited. There it is. Welcome. Yeah, it is exciting just how quickly things are going to be wrapping up. And of course, every time we do something with those every time we do a postcard, those pieces fall off our list. So we can get more and more focused. And that's exciting. So I hope you received my email, or actually, I guess it came from Bernie, with the Tuesday notes. So we do have several things that are due coming up here at the beginning of November. I think we're going to be great on all of those. I don't think any of them are difficult, but we're going to knock off 3 Christmas items right away to help Zonia out. So we're going to focus on Thanksgiving and those 3 Christmas items tonight, and we'll go from there. So let's do a couple of things to get ourselves just going vocally at the end of a long day. So just a little bit with our Ma, Me, Mi, Mo, Mu. We'll start here on a beautiful E major. And breathe. Major, not too low. Of course, the Love Death from Tristan and Isolde ends in B major. I'm sure all of you spend time singing the lyrics. Oh, yes, as sopranos. You don't?
You are breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Pretty
Yeah,
garbled.
when can we quit Zoom? Can we just quit Zoom now?
I think when you've been playing the piano, it gets its ears set up for that, and then when you start talking, it doesn't understand that for a minute. So
there's like some AI going on here, you mean? All right, so I'll do this, and then I'll count 10. How's that? Okay, all right. So here we are. So right where we left off, but now with ni, 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 oh. And remember, always have your mind prepared for that upper note. Have the space physically prepared as well for the upper note. 1, 2, go. Ni, ni, eh, ni, ah. 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 Ni, ni, eh, ni, ah.
Happening again.
Okay.
It's what you're okay now.
Yeah, I'm not talking at the moment. I'm just letting it all settle. So we're going to start with Thanksgiving. We're going to start in Thanksgiving with "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." I want to make sure we keep this in our mind and we're not forgetting about it as we are getting ready to record this. So what I'd like to do is actually go in with the video. This is not a difficult piece. It is not terribly challenging. It just warrants grace and beauty and attention to detail. So let's go ahead and sing this with the video. Again, the organ being very precise in terms of releases and all of that. For the purposes of continuing to warm up and practice, go ahead and sing the whole thing with repeats. Obviously, Jackie's going to be our soloist, and for your video submission, you'll only be singing the second time through. But for the repetition, go ahead and sing the whole thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you've been listening to the video, you know you hear your pitch and you hear the metronome and you're in right away. So get this going. All right, here we go. Okay, so with that, you know, between the fact that you get to sing this with the recording the whole time, the recording is very precise in terms of releases, you know, so you'll know right where to place your final consonants. You've got Jackie's recording. Again, it's not that it's difficult, but man, we want to be precise. We want to be precise because it is all in unison. It's very exposed. And we've talked a lot about this, making sure that we have beautiful shape, a supple quality to the voice, so that we are, nothing seems clenched. "'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be, where we ought to be." You know, not landing on those bottom notes. To bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn, shamed to turn, turn. I know that particular breath may seem awkward to you, may seem to be in a place you don't expect. But again, I think the consonants of shan't be ashamed to turn, turn. I think they really take care of all the separation we need. So any questions about this as you're preparing your final recordings? Nope. Do I mean, we agree it's pretty easy. Jack, you got a question?
Not a question, but a tip, because as you start the video, if you're doing it with the video, it comes really, really fast. So turn on your video first and then try to have your finger where you turn that on, if that's what you're doing, so that you're looking, so that you're prepared when the song starts.
That's a great idea. And as we're figuring out some of these things, I think what we'll do for next year, next semester, I don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I'll make sure that some of these kind of recordings, if I make any recordings like this, that they've got a longer intro for you. That was part of me just not quite knowing what would be best. I think the videos with the instrumentalists are better because there's always a little more time in there and you're not having to panic. Yeah, it's a good tip. All right. So I think this one's going to be great. A nice little slice of Americana. Let's go to the Thanksgiving song.
Hey, Rob, is something up with my video? Do you have to do so? Oh, there I am. Never mind.
Okay. Yay. Good. So let's go to the Thanksgiving song. Are there any particular moments in this that you're finding to be challenging, something you're not feeling good about in your ear or in the voice, anything that you want to address before we move to the video here? Okay, well, let's go ahead and go through this. You know, just to say one thing about it, the challenge of this piece is we want it to be in this very gentle folk / popular style, but we still have to bring a level of ensemble technique to make sure that we sound like we're all together. So with these final consonants, grateful for each hand we hold. It's gentle, right? It's not going to be like Battle Hymn or Hexenlied. And we hold. But it's got to be there. It's got to be there, and we all really need to be together. So part of the popular style, there's not so much of an explosion of air. And Hexenlied, we were going for much greater aspiration. Hexenlied, leet. But here, grateful for each hand we hold. It's still there, right? But there's not the explosion of air. That goes throughout. When we have S's, like on page 2, measure 18, same idea. Grateful for this sheltered place. With what's the note? With light, sheltered place. With light in every way. That S has got to be precise. It's not enormously loud, but it's got to be precise. At the top of page 3, you've got the feast, obviously very exposed. Anything with those high frequencies, S, ST, st, those things just, whether it's on video or live, they really pierce everything. So those, they're the most important that we be together. Your S's don't have to be long. They don't need to be, hissed, but they do need to be precise. All right, if there aren't any questions about specific parts, let's go to the video, let's sing it, and then if something comes to mind, let me know, because I want to make sure we're addressing what your needs are. So I'll go to the video here. Let me find it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So you see, if you spent any time with the video, you see what I'm doing there. I'm trying to give you the gentle half note, but then I'm focusing on each of those releases throughout the piece. So hopefully you feel like you're getting a visual, cue for exactly when those releases should be, because that's really, I think, the only thing that's going to chip away at this in terms of beauty. Um, Melodically, I think it's so graceful that we're going to sound great doing it. We've just got to find the balance between the folk pop and the reality of what it means to sing with 40 women, especially when we don't have the benefit of being in the same room, right? That fixes so many things when we're all together. But after going through that, do you have any questions about what you see on the video? Any questions about what you're hearing, or any questions about your part? I'd love to, seriously, if there's something you want to go over, we'll absolutely do it. Just tell me. Maybe do we all have this? Is it just cool?
Would anybody find it beneficial to go through the section where we have the harmony there, starting on page 6, I think it is?
Yeah,
that's
53.
Is it 6?
Just to reinforce it, maybe?
Yeah, it's the bottom of 5, 53. Yeah. And when you're singing this on your recording, I would encourage you at this moment, back off 5-10%, right? Because you're not the melody. So they write the dynamic both at mezzo piano, but yeah, kind of know your role. You're in a string quartet, and suddenly the viola has the melody, so the violins chill just a little bit. Yeah, let's go through that. So here we are at 53. This is the third time through this kind of material. And again, altos have the melody. So you start at the same place though. It starts the same way, then you break off. Here we go, 53. 1 and go. I got my note at 76. Anything else? I mean, how is the harmony coming? Is that making sense for you all? I see lots of nodding heads. That's great. Good. So it sounds to me like our Thanksgiving postcard with you is coming along very nicely, right? Good. I think it's going to be a good one. I really do. I think a lot of folks are going to like both of these pieces. Any other questions before we move on? Cool. Okay. Let's go, please. We're going to begin with the 3 Christmas pieces that are also due at the same time as Thanksgiving. So let's look, please, first at the beautiful, gentle Christmas Time is Here. Being sopranos, being lead sopranos on this piece, it really is as easy as just singing what you remember from Charlie Brown, which is wonderful. Remember, everything in this piece is grouped 2, 2, 4, and you breathe just like that the whole time. If the 4-bar phrase is a little long for you from a breath standpoint, of course, just stagger breathe. I would encourage you to breathe earlier in the phrase, and I would encourage you to simply leave a note out. Fun for all the children call their favorite time of year. I don't think it's that long, but that's me. I'm a big guy. Fun for all children call their favorite, something like that. If you need to leave a note out, it's much more simple than having to come in and out on a pitch. We are swinging this very gently, but that should feel pretty good, and you'll hear what Sean's doing. So let's, we're not going to sing through the whole thing because there's some repetition. We're going to go to the video in a minute. We're not going to sing through the whole thing right now, but let's sing through parts, and then I want to make sure we look at the end. Your ending is easy, right? Because all you do is hold. It's easier than the lower 2 parts, but let's just make sure we touch on everything before we go to the video. I think it's pretty easy to get your first pitch if you always start on this the bass is here. These are very dissonant intervals. Very nice. So here's the little intro, and 1. very, very good. So at that point, we've dealt with all of your musical material. Um, any questions about, about this? Pretty familiar from days gone by, I assume, which is great. And I know you've got a version in your library already, so you probably sung it with Janie. And the nice thing is, being sopranos, you probably are always on the melody. So that's great. Think about the way you want your countenance to appear, right? Your facial expression. This is not like the bright, happy, like the theme from Elf, right? Bum, 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 bum. Why are my eyebrows so high? That's awful. Something else, but happy, right? And bright. One of my voice teachers, my wonderful Virgin Miller, incredible pedagogue, wonderful musician. In my voice lessons during my undergrad, she would look at me and go, "Rob, the furrowed brow just, or the wrinkled brow just doesn't really help." So like Elf is like one kind of look, bright, happy, a little bit of humor, right? And then pieces like Where Are You Christmas, or there's probably another one in there that have a touch, oh, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. They have a touch of the melancholy, right? But this one is somewhere in the middle, and you want your face to express that wonderful nostalgia. So think about that as you're recording. One good thing about Zoom, I've never looked at my own face this often. So it's good for, as a chorus, to have some sort of objective view of what we all look like, right? And I'll be lucky, once we're back on stage, I still get to hide because my back is to the audience, which is the way it should be. But this is actually really good for all of us. So think about that, especially because the Christmas postcard is so long. Think about that as you're recording this piece, the quality of the kind of the facial expression we want. Let's look very briefly at the end, just so we say we did. Let's start at the bottom of page 5. Oh, that we could always see. Oh, that we could always see. See if you can find some way to express that, even as you're singing this, you're reminiscing about something else, something very enjoyable and pleasurable. Here we are at the bottom of 5. Let's just go to page 6. Oh, that we. This is on the bottom of the page, second measure. 1, 2. And you hold. And you'll hear Sean's final chord, and we all cut off on beat 2. Okay? Obviously, like I said, your ending is the simplest. If there are no questions, let's go to the video. I'm not sure we've done this with video, at least together. All right, here we go. Okay. So I think that's the first time we've gone through it together with video.
Sean
Um,
is amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
he really rocked it. He really
yeah,
did.
yeah. And you know, I mean, that like, yes, he did. And for me, it's like that moment just like gets me the feeling that I want to have with this piece. You know, it's that beautiful, relaxed, but yet, I mean, look, this is a tremendous piece of music that will outlive all of us and rightly should. I mean, this was a fantastic addition to, you know, the popular Christmas songbook. And when you consider how good the popular Christmas songbook already is, this is a great piece to have done. And the fact that we've got, you know, Sean playing it for us that way. I mean, I think this piece will largely take care of itself with kind of how we want to feel about it. But you know, it's the kind of thing that I wish we could, you know, go to a jazz bar and like schedule an hour where it's SoCo night and we've got Sean there and let him riff on that for, you know, 5 minutes. And then we all just come back in, you know, when he, I mean, oh, it'd be so great. Drinks in hand. We'll get there eventually, guys. We'll get there. Anything though with the video for what we've got to worry about, which is just some of the ensemble technique and the detail, anything that raised a question, or we feel good that we'll be able to knock this one out here in the next few days. Cool. All right. I love it. Again, not everything is difficult. I think this falls into that category. Let's go please to a very different kind of sound, White Winter Hymnal. White Winter Hymnal. Good. I just want to go through this in parts, then we'll go to the video. Remember, you do the same thing 3 times. There's only the slightest variation, and that is how you end. Everything else is literally exactly the same. There's no reason why we couldn't, you know, just put on an absolute clinic. We talked about the quarter notes. Oh, your notes are, I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scars of red tied round their throats. Remember, not squelching, but you know, letting those release out into the room, making sure when we're supposed to be connected, we are, to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And you should have time to vibrate, right? Let the voice spin. To keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turn round and there you go. Again, release. Those quarter notes, you probably should have time to have a little vibrato, okay? Follow the natural shape of the line from a dynamic standpoint. So we're building towards that high section each time. And then as we come down, we let it relax. And you'll see, of course, we've got the, you've got the crescendo diminuendo right there in your part. Good. Remember, throughout this piece, the soprano twos are actually the melody. The melody that if you're singing along with the pop song, that's what is the melody. So just keep that in mind when you're recording. You know, we don't want to be too overly aggressive on presence, but let's go right from the beginning. I'll start with the soprano 2 playing 4 times. You then come in. We talked about our stagger breathing, right? You know, good ensemble technique, even with a pop song like this. Here we go. So right from the very beginning, we'll go straight through. I've got a couple of people who said they want to do the ooze. So when that time comes, feel free. I'll need a couple more. If you haven't emailed me, please do. I just want to make sure that's covered. So here we go. Here's soprano 2s, and you're in 4 measures. Ready and go. releases out, right? Diminuendo, very relaxed, but it just releases out. And thankfully, we have no harsh final consonant that we have to worry about. So, I mean, it is simple. Any questions about it? I think the last time Soko did this, I understand it was a very small ensemble, right? A trio or something. So this might be the first time that you've had a chance to sing it with Soko. So good. Let's go through it with the video. That way we'll have a chance to see how that works again. Yeah, it goes by in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Very quick. All right, let me share this. And here we go. All right, so you see how that works. Knowing what I know now, I would have included a little more harmonic support at the end, knowing Zonya could just take that out. That was partly me just not quite understanding how all the stuff works. But I think we'll be fine. I mean, I don't think we're going to go anywhere. You'll have, you can use section leader recordings in your ear too. I do have the metronome on for you to help you keep time. The metronome kicks out a little bit early. Don't worry. Don't think, am I supposed to be done? That was on purpose, just to make sure it's very easy for Zonya to get that out of there. But any questions with the video, how it works? All right. Cool. So these are good and easy. Nice. I love it.
Oh, I did have a question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think you already covered this, but my instincts from singing along with the record are so strong. I don't know what's correct. After the word pack and coats, is there, well, I guess there's breath after coats, but not after heads and snow. I'm just
Right. Yeah. You see what I've got there on the score.
Yeah. So it's just exactly as written. No breath if there's not a rest.
Yeah, exactly. Now remember with pack, we've got to have a nice K. So there'll be separation. I was following the pack, all swallowed, right? I was swallowing the pack, all swallowed in their coats. So the pack, the CK needs to be there. Coats, we just cut off on the rest. Throats, kind of cut off on the rest. To keep their little hands from falling in the snow. part of that is I want this to sound, I want it to have some of the variety that a choir can bring. A choir is always much more powerful than an individual singer. And we can make sense of poetry where individuals sometimes have to interrupt it to breathe. So that's why I've got that marked. I do want that to carry. There's a release on Snow, you know, from falling in the snow, and I turn round and there you go. Also, Julie, in terms of the impulse to sing like the recording, make sure it's and turn the white snow. So yeah, just exactly as you see it here. Most of it lines up with what Fleet Foxes is doing. But again, we have the ability with the group of 40 to do things that, you know, it might just be one guy being recorded over, you know, or if there's a tiny ensemble, they can't stagger breathe like we can. They can't do things we can do. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions? Good questions. I love it. Okay. Nice, because this one's coming up. So let's go please to ELF. We're going to spend a little time in ELF. I know that this one just divides into two parts, but that's okay. You're all here. We can do our soprano. I do want to point out one thing just to make sure it's absolutely clear. We kind of did this on the fly on Sunday. At the very end, measure 55, 56. Just note that we are going to be in 4-part for those two measures. So if you have a slightly different role in 4-part, just make sure. So thinking 4-part soprano ones will be on the upper A. And if you happen to be in a different position, I don't think most of you aren't, but we will have a full chord starting from the bottom, A in the alto 2, C sharp in the alto 1, E and the soprano 2, and A for soprano ones. So just make sure you note that. The soprano ones at the end will sing the exact same length you see here, 7 counts, release on beat 4, all that kind of stuff. Okay, everything else is exactly as you see it on the page. Let's go through it with me playing your part, and then we'll move to the video as well. The introduction is very straightforward. You've got a good solid 4 measures of A major. So I'm not concerned about that. Here are the 2 measures before you come in. So I'll play the 2 measures before you come in, and then you're right there with etc. Here we go. Here's the 2 measures before. And two, three. So one thing we've got to be able to do, so much of this piece is staccato, and then we have these abrupt transitions to legato, whether it be here on the last page where suddenly we're singing text, or earlier, you know, where you've got the fa, la, la, fa, la, 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 la. So we want to have those abrupt transitions, especially like on this last page, because, you know, we could sing it "and we wish you," but we don't want that. We want "and we wish a very Merry Christmas." So we want to have those moments of real lyricism, mostly for variety. Okay, so just be ready to switch on a dime. And that'll make this piece really, really fun. Again, this will be our first piece on the postcard. This is like our overture. Okay, it's a Christmas overture. Even though it doesn't have some of these old Christmas themes in it, but I think it'll be just really, really delightful. We talked about the trickiest moment is just the transition at the top of 7. You've been hanging out in A major, and all of a sudden you have almost no transition. I mean, you just got to know where you're going. You want to have that in the voice. But any questions before we go to the recording? Okay. By the way, I've already turned in conducting recordings for these. I just sent a quick note to Zonia. I know she's been working with Veterans Day, but I'm hoping she'll get those conducting things added for these pieces very quickly. So there is some arm waving, if that will be helpful to you. So let's take a look, please, at the video and go through ELF. All right, here we go. Wait, am I sharing yet? No. Okay, I come back to you and I see all sorts of shaking heads. That's good. All right, here we go. That should be better. Here we go. So if that's your first time with the video, again, I don't think we've done it in rehearsal yet. Spend a little bit of time with it. Just enjoy what's going on in the percussion section. It's so much fun. I mean, it's just really, really great. And again, this makes me think very much of Lawrence Welk. Lawrence Welk would have, if that program was still around, they would have loved this piece. At the end, I know it's March Fortissimo and all that. it doesn't have to be weighty or pressed. It just needs to be delightful. That final phrase, legato, and we wish a very Merry Christmas to you. The high A just needs to be light, clear, in tune. Obviously, modify the vowel to you, right? Create a little more vertical space. Don't worry about a pure oo. But don't worry about being too enormous. It's all. I mean, you can see in the accompaniment, there's almost nothing going on. So we're not fighting like a big thick texture. This is another one of those pieces where you don't get any help from the accompaniment in terms of your specific part. I want to go through it one more time and I'm going to play your part, but I need all of you to unmute and scream if it's not working. There's no reason for me to go through that, okay? So all of you, okay? Because last time there was like one little voice crying out in the wilderness and I never heard it, or I thought it was like digital noise. So I don't want to waste anybody's time. But let's go through it again and I'll play your part. Hopefully it'll be lined up for you.
Is there any way Jackie or someone could sing it? Just, I know maybe it isn't possible, but it is, honestly, I'm struggling with this process. I'm just
Well,
saying.
I don't know this well enough, but I will have you a practice recording like in the next couple of days. These 3 that I didn't know were going to be due so soon, I will have those 3 to you in the next couple of days.
Okay.
But I don't really know this well enough to sing along with that at this very moment. I'm sorry.
That's
No,
it.
this is obviously, we just got that schedule finalized. So that's not anybody's fault but mine. So I'll play it right now, Francis. I'll play it.
I can sort of sing it if you ignore my upper register.
Do you want to sing it? Now, if you sing it, Julie, you got to share it. Okay, are you ready to share it? And you got to share the accompaniment.
So I got to pull it up on.
Yeah, if you're in your email, I always just search the helpful links email that Bernie sent out.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Yeah, the only thing is whoever's singing has got to be sharing it too for it to have a chance at syncing.
Postcard banners. Can you put the link to that video real fast in the text of the Zoom?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I'll keep looking.
If you look on page 3 of the Tuesday night notes.
Oh, it's on Tuesday night notes? Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube link that has the practice videos or the
Holy mackerel. Okay, so
right there.
Is this a practice audio recording or a performance?
Performance video. Do the performance videos.
Performance video.
Okay.
All right, you got it?
Well, hold on. I've got the link. Let's wait for my computer to catch up.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Okay. I had the playlist saved. Let me find theme from Elf. Here it is. Pause. All right, let me go back to Zoom. I will share screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
No, I didn't, but whatever. I don't know if I'll be able to correct that this quickly. So why don't I just go ahead and hit play? I'll figure that out for the future. I'll ask Bernie. Sorry about that.
That's right.
All righty. So let's go through this and hopefully my piano will be lined up. There's just as good a chance the piano will be lined up as the singing would have been. So hopefully it'll be good. Here we are. I didn't hear any screaming. Hopefully that's good. Did it line up okay for you?
Well,
Good.
I could just barely hear
hear
the
it.
piano. We could just
Okay.
barely hear the piano and they're,
Well, yeah, you know, who knows? I mean, you don't want to pound too hard and all that, but good. So,
Quick question.
yep,
Because it didn't line up, you're cutting us off the very last measure. You're cutting us off on the 3, right?
on beat 4. So on
So
beat 4, just like it's written. To you off.
okay.
And that'll be in the conducting video when it's added. Cool. All right, I've got to go on to my next. Remember, just watch the movie or get the soundtrack. This is like, you know, with the exception of like the Jingle Bells interpolation, it's exactly this. So you should, I mean, I don't know about the key, but the melody and all of that, the little bump bumps, it'll all come to you very quickly. All right, thank you so much, folks. We'll see you soon.